everyone. My name is Cece Cichelli, and I am professor and chair of the bioengineering department. On behalf of the entire department, it's my great honor to welcome all of you to the 2020 bioengineering graduation ceremony. Graduation is really the proudest moment of the year for all of us here in bioengineering. It's really been a privilege and honor to spend time with these remarkable and resilient students. They have made us laugh, smile, sing, and sometimes cry, but above all else, they have made the bioengineering department a better place by allowing us to share in their educational experience. This has truly been an outstanding group. I congratulate each and every one of you for successfully completing your degrees. You all should be very proud of your amazing accomplishments. I don't have time to list all of the many achievements our trainees have accomplished this past year, and believe me, there are many, but I'd like to recognize a few of those individuals who have received college, university, and national level recognition. 8 of our undergraduate students won Husky 100 awards for making the most of their time at the University of Washington. These were Anna Craig, Caleb Ellington, Sophia Jepson, Amanda Wen, Parker Ruth, Vidhi Singh, Sarah Slack, and Eric Yang. Additionally, Vidhi and Sarah are 2020 Fulbright finalists hoping to pursue research in India and Brazil, respectively. And Parker is a 2020 Goldwater Scholar. MAB students, Peter Badler, Sebastian Bibat, Nicholas Opalski, and Sarp Orgel were all part of the Concentric Entrepreneurial Team that won the WRF Capital second prize at the 2020 Holloman Health Innovation Challenge. Master's student Alyssa Schul won the Primera Grand Prize at UW's 2020 Science and Technology Showcase for developing the CREST Urethral Catheter Simulator. PhD student Christian Mandriki was nominated by his PI and the department for the Graduate School Distinguished Dissertation Award and the WAGS UMI Innovation in Technology Award. And now, all of the undergraduate and graduate student candidates get ready to be recognized. Everyone, please join me in congratulating all of our students for their many academic as well as personal achievements while in our program. Congratulations to you all. As you know, getting to this stage of your career has taken lots of hard work, dedication, and perseverance, along with a little help from our talented faculty and staff. But of course, our graduates would not be here without the unfailing support of their families and friends. So now, we'd like to take a minute for a bioengineering graduation tradition. All students, please turn and face your family and friends and give them a huge round of applause for all they have done for you.
Esteemed faculty, reliable staff, cherished guests, and graduates at all levels, I am humbled and honored at your invitation to speak into my computer at this auspicious and novel Corona event. This graduation comes at a time when the country is addressing more than 400 years of racial inequality and oppression, both through words and actions. The amount that I could say about the subject could fill a lecture hour, and the amount that I don't know or haven't experienced is so vast that I don't feel like the right person for the task. Therefore, I suspect that the senior class did not invite me to talk about the injustice, but to evoke some times together before we were consigned to the matrix. When I first realized we would deliver Spring Quarter online, I was severely disappointed, but also inspired by the many YouTube episodes that my kids and I have watched. I mean, if they can captivate us with nonsense and cats, how much more captivating would knowledge and CAT scans be for an audience? However, I was soon reminded of the Simpsons movie, in which the assistant to EPA Secretary Russ Cargill said, "Sir, you've gone mad with power," with the reply, "Of course I have. Have you ever tried to go mad without power? It's boring." Going remote without a studio or production crew, it's not boring, but it didn't match my imagination. University instructors provide sophisticated content aimed at your future career. Well, Rhett and Link are taste testing charcoal donuts on Good Mythical Morning, and guess which one gets viewed at 1.5 speed? I personally am best served at 1.25 speed. The last time I gave a graduation address, back before the previous Great Recession, Professor Yeager, no, a veteran colleague, you have to balance anonymity and attribution, remarked that I drew heavily on humor at the intersection of engineering and medicine, perhaps making it less accessible to a diverse range of guests. So, in order to avoid that inside nature during today's presentation, I will offer some explanations and try to give our guests a better sense of what the undergraduates, at least, have experienced in the past few years. First, I will condense a 14-minute talk, which we call the semester system, into a 10-minute talk, which we call the quarter system. Second, our department practices aggressive continuous improvement for each course and the curriculum as a whole, hence the notepad in which I can edit and improve my script. For me, this ACI meant seldom delivering a class the same way twice, and during some lectures I half expected a student to stand up and say, "He's making it up as he goes along." However, the students were, and continue to be, patient and polite. Third, I tell the sophomores what I expect them to know before starting my course, so we can address gaps before setting off. For example, for our guests who are out of town, you might want to know that over here is Seattle. We have a very responsible young man named Russell Wilson, who leads a football team called the Seattle Seahawks. Over here, this is New England, and they have a man named Tom Brady, who has his own football team. Now, Tom Brady is hot, but a lot of people around here are angry at him for a few games that were played about 5 years ago. So, now you've had your review. As students in this major, you've likely been told, "You're in bioengineering, you must be really smart." And that is undeniable. You are graduating from what is arguably the most challenging major in a school that isn't easy to get into in the first place. So when you meet someone from MIT or from Harvard, oh, excuse me. It's okay. It was just the name. You can both bow down, which is good because you're not supposed to shake hands these days anyway. And the graduate students, you rocked just to get here and are rolling on your way out. And trust me, your advisors didn't get together and think, "Yes, a virus. That will keep them at home writing their dissertations." Didn't happen. Of course, the true benefit of self-confidence is not self-aggrandizement, but rather the willingness to take intellectual risks. The particular way occurs to me in asking questions. Sometimes when you ask a silly question, you don't get a silly answer. So this is for the youngsters. Around 2002, the Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, gave an infamous speech trying to justify the search for weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And he referred to known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. This last category is important because it's asking about things you really don't know. It might provide an answer to a question you didn't even know was a question. Sometimes the pan will come up empty, but sometimes it will come up with a glitter of gold. Now, there are two caveats regarding self-confidence: safety and humility. Before you get into an experiment or prototyping project, run through the steps in your mind's eye for feasibility and risks. I was taught as a novice sculler, and that's one boat, two oars going backwards so you can't see where you're going, that when you turn to look, don't look for the open water, look for the other boats. The open water will always be there, but the boats will set your course and keep you safe. The second caveat is that if you act as if you know it all, others won't try to teach you, and that's why humility is important. Have you ever enjoyed an art history trip so much that you forget to leave the museum? And you can see the exit through the Sumerian figurine exhibit, but you can't get there through the glass doors? And when you finally find an emergency exit and step out into the snow, you discover that the museum is in the shape of a square with a fully enclosed courtyard and the doors locked for the night? I have. And it's events like that, plus academic confidence, that allow me to wear a fez in lecture, or mangle signals as the evil comparator, or to wear the Coulter Memorial hat. I did this all for the juniors, and I thought the seniors deserved to see it too. So, none of us is perfect. Oh, with the possible exceptions of Professor Wendy Thomas, Professor Murray, either one, Professor Giacelli. Ooh, we will have a new chair as of July 1st. So, Michael Rainier. Sorry, Cece. So, Engineering Dean Nancy Albritton closes out that list. Even Parker Ruth had room for improvement once. But in fairness, he did have one hand fixed to the table with EMG electrodes while explaining his project and clicking the mouse with the other hand. Oh, and bioengineering is also in the School of Medicine, so I should say good things about Dean Paul Ramsey, who as CEO of UW Medicine has a tough job ahead leading the hospital out of the corona pandemic. Now, if you own a body shop and there's a severe hailstorm, business is great, but it hasn't worked out that way for the medical system. Healthcare providers put in a tremendous effort to save many lives over the past 3 months, but because they had to cut elective procedures and buy additional protective equipment, the system actually lost money, with the result that many of those same individuals who worked so hard have now been furloughed. That's not fair. And India, which made some tough decisions to control the epidemic there, has been hit with both a hurricane and a locust invasion. Locusts. Are you Fourier serious? A lot of life isn't fair. There is vast inequality in our city, country, nation, and the world. But it is okay to be financially successful in your career if you make wealth and not take wealth. And if you are successful, however you get there, then share. Even if you don't have wealth to share, you can share respect. Who deserves more respect? The student who managed to be the first in their family to earn a college degree, or let alone a doctorate? Or the parent who has only a high school diploma, but who has worked tirelessly to put that student through school? The great thing is that, unlike a budget or a Super Bowl between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England... just a little bradycardia there. Well, unlike a budget or championship, respect is not a zero-sum game. You can serve up as much as you want and still have plenty left for yourself. So, thank you for all the haikus and diatom sketches on the board, ideas, questions, hikes in Nepal. Next time I'll catch you, Tashi. Energy and concern for others. Go out and do great things. And if you do end up getting that medical degree and help elderly museum curator or two, remind them that college students are good kids who sometimes just needed some additional assistance making it out into the world. Thank you and congratulations.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you all, however many of you there are out there, on this meaningfully symbolic day devoted to reflection and celebration. Although graduations serve as a bittersweet time of goodbye, I'm hoping to use the space of the next few minutes to dwell on what I learned from you all over these wonderful transformative years now behind us, with the hopes of encouraging us all for a future when time resumes its more typically rapid pace. Indeed, most of the understanding we're able to gain during grad school comes in waves of realization during reflection, waves that break, shockingly, through the perpetual hum of, wow, I have no idea what I'm doing. The most important things I learned at UW were character traits modeled by my peers and by our mentors and by those we mentored. And I find it hard to differentiate between the lessons which made me a better scientist and those which made me a better person. With the help of a few exceptional authors of fiction, I want to emphasize the connection between imagination and responsibility, and reflect on how I've watched that responsibility take the form of courage, repeated as perseverance in your science and in your lives. John Keats wrote that, "In dreams begin responsibilities," paraphrased by Haruki Murakami as, "Our responsibility begins with the power to imagine." The bioengineers I've met during my time in grad school were bursting with passionate imagination, especially first years. But this was always uniquely grounded by the assumption that their life's purpose came from and with humanistic responsibility. With every new grant application that a professor writes, we undertake a creative effort in which we imagine a healthier or at least a better understood world, and we assume the responsibility of bringing that about. It's something we all take for granted, but it's worth celebrating that you've devoted your lives to improving the human condition. At the risk of boring you to tears with virtue signaling, I want to point out that this sense of responsibility isn't effortlessly generated or maintained. The existential weights of doing good science or living a meaningful life are rooted in constant intentional commitment and self-evaluation, an emotionally potent cycle that all grad students are intimately familiar with. We ask ourselves, as one of Samuel Beckett's characters in Waiting for Godot, was I sleeping while the others suffered? Am I sleeping now? Tomorrow, when I wake, or think I do, what shall I say of today? Making peace with the days you've lived and then setting out again to live for both yourself and others on balance is no easy task, and yet we ask it of ourselves daily. As academics, we address this by choosing to live life in pursuit of truth that is worth sharing, confident that the cost of the pursuit pales in the comparison to the prize. Simone de Beauvoir recognized this, proclaiming, "I tore myself away from the safe comfort of certainties through my love for the truth, and truth rewarded me." I'm so grateful for the mentors and peers in this department who model the fearless pursuit of ideas, and for the mentees who give us the opportunity to experience the rewards of passing on a passion for the same. Mercifully, the sum of our contribution to this earth and this program is much greater than that of the hard facts we uncover about it while we're here. Of course, the vast majority of PhD work takes place outside of the traditional pedagogical apprenticeship that is nice to think about. Vast stores of self-determination and adept self-teaching are the definitive job requirements of the degree, and I want to congratulate and celebrate the graduates for finding the courage to turn fear and doubt that I know we all feel into action and new knowledge day after night after day. I personally love and relate to the moment in Waiting for Godot when Estragon sighs, "I can't go on like this," and Vladimir replies, "That's what you think." Graduation represents a wide diversity of personal challenges, but also therefore a wide diversity of accomplishments. Maybe you struggle with mental health, as I do. Or maybe your challenges are among those that my cis-het white male privilege largely shields me from, that are so visible in today's society. Today, you have all proved that you are capable of, even talented at, facing challenges with determination. And you've inspired others to do the same, whether you realize it or not. Perseverance has never been more highly praised in public discourse than it is right now, but I want to thank you for yours. I ask you to continue to courageously imagine a better world with all the responsibility that entails. Thanks.
Congratulations to the class of 2020, and good morning, evening, or night, depending on where you are. My name is Gilad Tubul, and I'm one of the students graduating today from the Masters of Applied Bioengineering program. First and foremost, thank you to everyone that has made this day possible for each student here. While higher education is a path you take yourself, it is not one you have to take just for yourself or alone by yourself. Thank you to the parents, siblings, grandparents, and pets who embarked with us, even though many don't quite understand what bioengineering is. Thank you to the friends, classmates, and coworkers that have shared with us countless fond memories, late nights, and warm meals. Thank you to the teachers and faculty who have mentored us for a term or more and shown their patience and willingness to adapt. Least of all, a special thank you on our behalf to the GoPuff driver who brings a cup of ramen at 2 a.m. with no judgment. Together we have had the fortune of attending the University of Washington, a place that has facilitated both our education and our personal growth. How many of us can say that we are the same person today as we were when we started our degree? Probably none. Coming into the MAB program last August, I was not too sure what to expect of my cohort. Much to my delight, upon the first day of orientation, I was greeted by a room full of smiles from quirky strangers that have since shown me the meaning of hard work, kindness, and creativity. By the end of the first day, we were eating and laughing together. By the end of the first term, we had gone on 2 weekend retreats and were planning a third. We quickly began calling ourselves Mabsters and continued on a path of humor and friendship, teaching one another, and an odd amount of bowling. Over the course of this past year, we've become very familiar with 2 words that are composed of 4 syllables and 14 letters. That's right, you guessed it, progress report. One of the assignments we never seemed to shake that would keep finding its way back to us. Ironically, reflecting on this year, I stumbled on more of their value. The first word, progress. What does it mean to you? It's a word we consider so often, one that holds with it the determination to advance, move forward, and accomplish. It is not bound to a single thing, not a class, not a job, or an activity. Progress is the long-term trend of improving despite setbacks that arise along the way. It is something each of us wishes for ourselves, and today each of us has clearly achieved. Take a moment and appreciate all the progress you have made. It may be in mastering a subject, learning new ways of working as a team, speaking your mind when others are louder, or gaining confidence in your own capabilities as you discover them. The second half of the recurring assignment is report. As those of us in MAB know well, a report is not solely an organized list of what we have finished. It is a chance to reflect on the highs of our progress and understand how we overcame unforeseen challenges as they arose. By bouncing ideas off of friends, engaging with and challenging what we're taught, and communicating with others, we gain a unique type of depth and insight. Through the progress of reflecting on our journeys and on our achievements, we better understand both our work and ourselves. This ability to reflect and understand is something of great value that will continue with us throughout life. Each of you has done it on a regular basis and should be proud of it. While we all have a different string of decisions that brought us here today, we have one thing in common right now. We are all graduating. We are all closing one chapter of our lives to begin the next. Each of us is moving forward, progressing onto a bright future filled with possibility and surprise. Part of what makes us scientists is that we have an innate desire to make our world a better place. Be it through creating a revolutionary advancement in healthcare, leading a team of innovators, or listening to the needs of those around us, we have the power to better ourselves and the lives of others. We can draw upon the experiences that built to this day and have confidence that we can overcome any challenge thrown at us with an open mind, perseverance, and optimism. As we go into the next parts of our lives, I want to leave all of you with one last exciting assignment, a progress report. Whatever you do and wherever you go, keep in mind that you can always succeed regardless of setbacks. To take the time to reflect on the things you've achieved and are grateful for, and to surround yourself with people who support you. Congratulations, class of 2020, on all of our achievements that we celebrate today.
Hi everyone. Can you believe we're finally here? So many emotions, reminiscent, contentment, nervous, most importantly, a strong feeling of gratitude. First, I'm thankful for the valuable experiences which have reshaped my perspective. I may not have mastered MATLAB, but I have gained more self-awareness. Through my time in Thailand and Laos and the study abroad program in my home country, Nepal, I came to the dreaded realization that I have a savior complex. I had ignorantly thought that I was immune to it just because I'm an immigrant. Obviously, this realization was a hard blow, but the healing process was beautiful. I remember when one of you told me, it is good to feel sad sometimes. At the time, I thought you were delusional, but I think I get a sense of what you mean now. Thank you for validating my emotions and for letting me take the time to feel and process them and not trying to goodify the situation. These difficult times make space for reflection, and hopefully we can come out healed and transformed with a better understanding of ourselves and others. After deep self-reflection and some tearful conversations with some of you, I began to revise my perspective in how I view developing communities. Rather than being blinded by pity and seeing only deprivation, I began to see the admirable strengths, wisdom, and improvisation of these communities and how the limitations in resources do not prevent them from smiling and thriving. I hope this evolving and ongoing change in perspective will guide me to become not a helper and savior, but a better learner and ally when connecting with these communities as I pursue rural medicine. The journey here had some sleep-deprived, hair-shedding moments. There were times when I compared myself to you and questioned my place in the cohort. To the graduates, I want to thank you for showing your vulnerability and sharing your personal stories of not just success, but also of struggle and perseverance. It really made these challenging times more manageable and even embraceable. By looking only at your achievements, I was reducing you to a flat robotic character and disregarding the complexity and depth that make each of you so special. So diverse in our experiences that it does not make sense to compare one another in a pew chart. Through your stories, including Facebook and Instagram stories, I was reminded that at the end of the day, we are more than just bioengineering students. Amongst us, we have chefs and bakers who can make Gordon Ramsay drool, rock climbers who are basically mountain goats in disguise, calligraphy artists whose planners would rock the runway if only it could grow legs, talented pianist, guitarist, and music composer whose wistful songs you can find on Spotify and YouTube. There's even someone who makes didgeridoo from agave trees. I know, you can look that up later. And we also have people who don't let depression and loss stop them from seeing the little wonders of life. Thank you for helping me view your accomplishments as a reason to feel motivated and inspired rather than dragging myself down through comparison. Talking about accomplishments, 8 of the Husky 100 recipients are from our cohort. Yes, 8. I feel so proud. Next, I not only want to thank my parents, but I also want to congratulate them. This cap and gown belongs to them as well. I graduate today because my pala and mama provided me with the privilege of education and a safe, loving home. This is a privilege that some people, including my parents, didn't have, and which I have at times taken for granted and failed to recognize. Likewise, I would like to thank all the loved ones of today's remarkable graduates and the BioE faculty for supporting us as we navigate through adulthood. Let's continue to stand by each other during times of difficulty and celebrate each other's accomplishments, no matter how big or small they may seem. Let's reflect on our journey and ask ourselves what we learned from the complicated emotions we allowed ourselves to feel and explore. How have we broadened our view of the world by challenging our inner flaws and examining our privileges, like sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, and the color of our skin? And how will you use these to become better listeners and more responsible human beings and bring necessary change even when it seems like the problem does not directly apply to us? I'm so grateful to be part of this diverse cohort. I hope you all realize how deserving you all are of this major accomplishment. With that, I cheers to us, the University of Washington Bioengineering Class of 2020. Please give yourselves a warm standing ovation. Thank you.
Leandra Brittner, Hannah Frizzle, Yang Zhang,
Christian J. Mandricki, David J. Peeler,
Kamal Shah, Nisa Williams, Colin Eckhoff, Zarui Fu, Ryan Hammond, Joyce Huang,
Dylan Cole Jensen, Henry Lee,
Faria Rahman,
Adia Rahumjan,
Alyssa Shule,
Patrick Slogic,
Brendan Wong,
Fei Ron Yang, Zhao Zhou, Yingshi Zhou.
Bita Asad-Najad Seysan, Thomas Butterwick,
Jeffrey Chu.
Kristen Dick,
Blake Engelbert.
Kristen Fetchko, Brandon R. Galan, Alexis Householder, Stephanie D. Jean-Baptiste, Elaine Kim,
Sean Malone. Colleen E. Moore.
Eyasu Adebo, Hazem Al-Harti, Christopher H. Allen, Joaquin Enrique Batista,
Peter Vitler. Sebastian Bibat.
Samuel Munyut Broadwell,
Kevin Burgett.
Angana Deb, Anais Jade Eugenie Emily, Joseph Galino, Xu Yang Guo, Sophia He, Shwetha Kunavakam Vinjimur, Yichang Liu, Jennifer Luviano,
Sandra Oluch.
Nicholas Edward Opalski.
Sar Borgul.
Maxwell Benjamin Ruminer.
Jordan Smithline.
Mohammed Mushtaq Talib. Tanya To. Gilad Daniel Tubul. Regina Tui.
Kelvin Joseph Anderson,
Andrew Asakawa.
Preeti Basu,
Basasan Balhu.
Sierra Michelle Bonilla,
Annalise Virgo.
Jaylene Seha, Janae Chan,
Emily Chun.
Mason Caldwell Clugston, David James Cooper, Kaylee Morgan Cobro, Joshua Coyle, Anna M. Craig, Piper Sean Kramer,
Levi Davis.
Cara Celestine Sayed de Leon, Asia Lee Judith Donnelly, Mitchell Anthony Ekdahl, Caleb Ellington, Jason Fox, Charles Denton Glazer, Lahari Garantla, Parker Lewis Grosjean, Sung Hyun Han, Joseph David Henthorne,
Ariel Howell,
Francis Victoria Ingram Bate, Taylor Kamiko Ha Ishida, Sophia Zaiga Jepson,
Ankita Joshi,
Grace June, Dana Shauna Kamens, Eric Christopher Katsung, June Kim, Miriam Larici, Nathaniel James Linden,
Adam Little, William Leishan Liu,
Ethan Jeffrey Lockhart, Catriel Marie Looney, Niona Momoko Renfong Lo, Wenbo Lu, Kelsey Tran Lu,
Rose Michelle Marzan, Noah Kintaro Matsuyoshi,
Thomas McHill Wayne, Robert Miniker, Olizia Miranchik,
Arman Reza Naderi, Brandon Mark Nelson,
Amanda Nguyen, Richard Alejandro Parra,
Hyai-won Kim Redden,
Ming Ren, Gabriel Rush, Parker Ruth,
Tunmei Rajendra Sapre,
Cameron Schloss,
Mingma Tashi Sherpa, Janice E. Shin, Vidhi Singh, Sarah Danielle Slack,
Nicholas Thomas,
Luke C. Thurber, Dorsa Togani, Cameron David Trader,
Ethan Vo,
Maximilian Alexander Walter,
Tian Wang,
Yi Han Wang,
Elise Renee Ward,
Taylor K. Watson, Maxwell Stewart Weil, Joshua Gibson Whalen, Angel Tan Wang, Eric Yang.
Hello again. As we've come to the end of our ceremony, I want to congratulate you all again on your many achievements and your graduation from our program. Thanks also to all your friends and family who joined us for this wonderful celebration today. You're also invited to attend the 2021 Bioengineering graduation ceremony so that we can honor you in person. Now that you are UW Bioengineering alumni, I also want to invite you to stay connected with the department. You can do that by tuning in to our Facebook or our LinkedIn site, and there you'll find the latest departmental news as well as any upcoming alumni activities. Once again, congratulations, and I wish you all success and happiness in all your future goals and endeavors. You did it!